So we're going to change tracks a little bit, not too much, and we're going to come back to some of the things that Sasha and Sidhu and Manjusha talked about. But we're going to change tracks slightly, and the next thing we're going to talk about is data, right? Now, so everyone, the new thing is data is the new oil. Actually, not so new, but what people don't realize is that oil needs refining and lots of things it has to go through before it can actually be usable. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort of deep dive into how to actually use data to get usable insights. So the thought today was that we'll discuss a little bit about some of the challenges, the top 3 challenges that organizations usually face when they're looking at data, and how to actually make most of your data. So, and then there's a little bit of a framework that we have, but that's more 30,000 feet. What I wanted to really focus more on is give you some usable examples. So we have the ability to look across the spectrum, see what many of our clients are doing. And so there's a lot of learning that we get from seeing our clients, and you'll hear from some of them later, right after this. But before that, I think I wanted to give you a flavor of what some of our customers are doing. And hopefully you can take those home if some of them work. And of course, there's many more examples that we can share moving forward. So when it comes to data, really, right, there is the 3 big challenges. I mean, there's many more about this, but the 3 big ones that we hear. One is around data accuracy. So it could be anything to do with, duplicates, or maybe wrong data entry or anything, or the fact that your data sits and resides in different systems, so you have to bring it together. And the third one actually is about, generating the insights. Now, believe it or not, a lot of people, come to us and say, okay, give me the data, show me the data, show me. But where the problem is that they don't know what they want to see, right? So there are people who would say that, okay, I want to see savings, but what kind of savings would you want to see? What are the areas of focus? So what I want to focus today on is more about generating insights. There's ways that we can, talk about data quality and fragmentation, and those are issues. But what we really wanted to focus today on generating business insights, and is like I said, 30,000 feet view of how we believe that you can get to that, right? So it all starts with understanding your goals. Sash spoke about understanding your goals a little bit, and I think it all starts there. Now, it's very easy and for me to say understand your goals, and it looks very strange that I would go out again and again and say, do you understand your goals? But the fact is, a lot of customers that we speak to may understand it, but they're not able to articulate it. And I'll give you a small example. So I was speaking to a customer recently, and I said, okay, what does success mean to you? What do you want to achieve? And they said, we want to achieve automation, right? Now, very good thought. Why do you want to achieve automation? And they said, and that's where we start to lose them, right? Now, fact is, you could achieve automation for because your data integrity was bad and you want to improve your data quality. Maybe you want to achieve automation because you think that by achieving automation, I'll create a better user experience for my employees. Maybe you want to achieve data automation because that will help you speed up your finance process, and then you can pay your employees on time, or suppliers on time, or vendors on time. There are many different ways in which many different things that data automation can help you achieve. So what we need to find out is what is that underlying thing that you want to really achieve, right? Once you know that, and I'm not saying there would be one, there could be many different reasons, but once you have that, once you know what you are trying to achieve, is then when you try and create some continuum metrics around it, right? So going back to my example about if you want to achieve quick payments for your vendors, right? So you will want to split it up. Okay, what is my current time to process? What's my current time to pay? What's my current time to submit? You have that data in front of you. And then you start to deep dive into that data to see, okay, where are the things, what is taking time, right? So maybe like for expense submission, right? So you say, okay, my employees submit my expenses in 10 days, but there's 20 days before they actually get paid. What is it that I can do? You benchmark this data with what some of your industry peers are doing. So you say, okay, what's the best in class? Okay, 5 days, but I'm taking 10 days. Here's something that I could do, right? J.K. Simmons example, right? They're actually almost, and if I may be allowed to quote, they're actually processing payments like near real time. So an employee submits a bill, and 11 days later, the money is in their bank account, right? Which includes time to submit and time to process and everything. So it goes back to so you define your thing, get the continuum metrics, and then you start measuring it. And once that happens, you'll realize there are new things that you want to do. So that's where there's a cycle. So again, I mean, that's a theoretical version of it. What we wanted to do was give you a flavor of real life examples. So most of our customers, when we talk to them, right, these are the 4 pillars where they generally tend to, and some of you may have seen this slide before, and we reiterate it, but the fact is that most of our customers see value in these areas. So and it depends on who I'm talking to within the organization. So if I'm talking to an IT guy, he may be interested in, okay, how can I expand this to all my other geographies? Or if I'm talking to someone in HR, they'll say, how can I use this data to get a better employee experience? Or if there's a finance guy or a procurement guy, they'll say, hey, can I get this data to see who my top suppliers are so that I can negotiate better rates with them and save some money, right? Or controls and compliance wise, they would want to make sure that you're within policy. If you're out of policy, what is that reason? And then if you see, so couple of things we have here. Now, what I wanted to really get into is some of the examples that we've got. So this is one. So simple report, right, shows what the top 15 spends are, right? Now, based on this, you can see, okay, airfare is my top thing, and hotel. So then you would say that, okay, let me find out which are the airline suppliers that am I using, and can I extract more out of those airline suppliers, right? Similarly, which are my top hotels? So building on that, that's the next level. So this is an example of a customer who based out of Singapore, and they said that, okay, you know what? We're too reliant on Singapore Airlines, right? Because we're based out of Singapore, they're flying everywhere, but we're too reliant on Singapore Airlines. Is there any way we can, and Singapore Airlines, because of that, is not coming to the table and giving us a good rate, right? So what these guys did was, these guys said, okay, let's do this. Let's shift traffic away from Singapore Airlines, right? So they went out, got the data, put something together. Now, realistically, they cannot obviously switch off one carrier and move traffic away 100%. But what they could do was, so they saw that based on the routes that they fly, there's still 27% market share that Singapore Airlines will get, no matter what, right? So it could be routes that they fly, there's a monopoly on those routes. But what they had to do was just shift enough away from Singapore Airlines to get them back to the table to start negotiating with them. So here's just one of those analysis. Here's another example. So again, mobile adoption, right? So we come back to mobile adoption again. Mobile adoption could be because we want to drive better employee experience, or because we want to focus on make sure that employees are not able to sort of expense, because we want to drive expensive adoption, right? But here's a report that shows what the employees are actually using this for, and and where are they using? So if they're actually using it for approving, if they're actually using it for submitting. So once you have the data, then you can obviously do a deep dive. Here's an example of this life cycle. So submission to payment. A lot of our customers use this to find out where the gaps are. Now, where we see a lot of people from finance come through is that this is sort of actually better than best in class, because you typically see 20 days, 5 days, and 2 days. But if this one on the right was, let's say, 18 days, 19 days, then you would know which area to actually focus on and deep dive in, right? And here's another example of one of our customers wanted to see that if they move their spend on card, how much can they actually save by, in terms of rebates, or how much can they save by getting better quality of data, or again, could also be linked to employee experience. So those are some of the examples. And before we sort of dive into the panel, are there any questions that anyone has? Okay, I've either done a very good job or a very bad job.